Hey, glad that you all could join us here, Lucky 13. And we have an honored guest here, and she's going to be talking about property acquisition in Ghana. The lovely sister, Darnisha Wright. All right.
All right. After that wonderful introduction and preceding video, I will announce that property acquisition is not the topic.
Okay.
So, the topic today is I'm going to discuss my Fulbright to Ghana relationship building and international student exchange program development. Right. So I have delayed and delayed and really have just completed this a little while ago. So I pray that there are not very many mistakes. And if they are, you all will be gentle with me. Let's see. Right, nice and clear?
Yep.
Okay. I usually have two monitors set up when I do this so that I can see what's going on, but I did not do that today. So this is the topic, and really relationship building is a integral part of anything that you would like to do in Ghana. I found much more so than anything that I've experienced in the United States. So, if your goal is to acquire anything in Ghana, build property, business, any type of business ventures, relationships are really the key to being able to do that. So, um, my first experience in Ghana was during the year of return as a Fulbright scholar, and out of it came my business, Ubuntu 1865, and the venture that I hope uh, to complete at some point in life, which is to be able to actually build something there, acquire, build, and have a site that can house youth from the United States who can come and experience a couple of weeks of uh, cultural education and really healing for both sides. So that is the larger dream. And one of the wonderful things about experience in the continent is being able to find ourselves more, to be able to relate to who we are, and to be able to learn about our own origins. And so I put this at the beginning because it really exemplifies that as I was going through one of the villages in the north and found this man who did not speak the native tongue at all, but he saw me and he just pointed and he said, Fulani. And lo and behold, when I got my African ancestry, it came back that I do have Fulani ancestry. It came back with the Bubi people living in the Bioko Islands, which is just south of Ghana. Oh, the Tikar Hausa and the Fulani people living in Cameroon. So the way that I was able to experience the continent was through the Fulbright program. And I knew nothing at all about Fulbright until I applied for it. I only applied for it because I really only saw the words 30-day trip to Ghana paid for. That's really all I saw. And I just started answering the questions and filling out the application. And lo and behold, I received it. So, well, part of the purpose of Fulbright Aid is to, as it says, to bring more knowledge, more reason, and more compassion into world affairs by increasing the chance that nations will learn the last to live in peace and friendship. So, Fulbright is designed to give
Sister
uh,
Darnisha,
students,
Sister Darnisha,
yes,
can we
yes,
pause? There's some type of something in the background. A couple of people that
on mine.
uh, I
Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah.
I think it is too. Okay, let me see if I can completely make that go away. It's muted, but apparently it is not. 1 second. I'm gonna have to leave that. Okay,
All
that's
right.
my maybe that's my new good microphone. So, um, The purpose of Fulbright is to expose people of the world so that we're able to hopefully live more harmoniously. So, this is just a little bit about the Fulbright. It's founded in 1946. It's funded through the U.S. State Department. There's about 370,000 participants worldwide. Of those, 60 are Nobel Prize winners, 88 are Pulitzer Prize winners, and there's over 165 countries that participate. It's recognized as one of the most prestigious scholarships in the world, and there are over 8,000 grants annually, including United States scholars, foreign students, teachers, and professionals. I traveled as a teacher. So part of my goal, I'm now on the Fulbright Association Board of Directors, and I was very, very clear when I applied for that position why I was there, and the full purpose for me being there is to expose people of color to Fulbright and to the opportunities that come with it. This is a program. I didn't get a free trip for 30 days. I got a trip that was paid for through all of our tax dollars through the U.S. State Department. And our people who look like us need to know that this opportunity exists, and they need to be able to take advantage of it. So that is one of the expectations when you receive a Fulbright, is that you don't pay it back in money, but you pay it back by spreading the word. So one of my major goals coming forward is to spread the word about Fulbright. I'm also beginning to be involved, thanks to Baba Bamandeli, in the Sister Cities program. And these are just two programs that I'm hoping to be able to bring together for the betterment of Black folks, so that we can start helping each other around the diaspora. Fulbright Hayes is actually the program that I participated in, and that is the part of Fulbright that targets organizations. So I went through the Mills College Fulbright Hayes application. So, in light of the goal of Fulbright, it is to give you exposure so that you have the connections that you need to do whatever business it is that you want to do, but to make your international experience smoother and more efficient and more successful. So this was one of our first meetings where we were introduced to the head of the department, the Ministry of Education of the entire country. I'm sorry I did this quickly. I didn't relook up the names, but this is the Minister of Education here, but I do remember his story. And this is why it's so important for us to maintain relationships and to maintain the connections. This guy started as a janitor in a public school in Los Angeles County. He moved up to become the principal of a charter school. And when the president of Ghana visited the United States some years ago, about a decade ago, heard about his countryman who was doing so well here in the United States, met him and asked him would he please bring his family home to head up the Ministry of Education. So that is the Minister of Education, who has close ties to the Bay Area, and by allowing you to have these connections, it makes it so that you're able to reach out and to be able to partner much more easily than someone who is just calling from a cold call. And then I also added the picture of the ministers just because, it was just so inspiring for me throughout my trip in Ghana, just to see, everybody looks like you. So here are all the ministers of the state. And as you see, there are many, many females on this picture, and they are certainly all brown. So this is the now Nana Kwame showing us out on our first night, because the Fulbrighters also got to go out and have a little bit of a good time. So that's
Can I pause you? The term Nana, I hear that often. What does that mean?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that.
Okay, all right.
All right. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Never mind.
So yeah, I threw that in there just so inquisitive people like you would catch it and ask the question. So this was actually in Accra, and this is Dr. Nolan Jones, of my very good friend Acacia Chan, and Mara, one of the professors, another professor at Mills College. And he is Nana because he has now been made a chief in Elmina. And Nana is it's a deferential term. When you become, he is now the chief, and you're able to call him Nana Kwame. But you can also be called Nana if you're a respected elder. So I have a godson now in Kumasi, and when my godson calls me, he calls me Nana. So you meet many people with the title of Nana. It's a respected person in Ghana. And this happened over the summer that he became a chief in the Elmina area. Sitting next to him is my good brother Nana Shabazz. Nana Shabazz is the son of Mama Amicus, the owner of One Africa. So Nana Shabazz to the left runs the One Africa resort. So how do you make things happen? How do you get business done? How do you accomplish things? You make sure that your two brothers are the chiefs in the area that you're doing business in, and it does not guarantee anything, but you know it does not hurt. Um, so this gentleman, also a Nana, and I call him just Nana, not Nana something, just Nana. And it's amazing how you people are able to tell one from the another, because you know in Ghana everyone has day names. There's only 7 days. So that's 7 names for, well, 14, because you know the women's name and the men's names. But he is also Nana, and he is Nana because he is also very well respected in his community, and he is in line to become a chief of his community. The chiefdom is not guaranteed. As you know, there are other people in the community, including the queen mothers, who make the decision of who has earned the title of chief when the time is right. But in order for him to be in that position, he is just very well connected. He is just very well politically connected. He knows everyone. He was our guide that was hired by the Department of State, and we went to pretty much every region, and at every region he was just extremely knowledgeable and knew all of the players in the region, and that's why he is the Nana. He just has an incredible reach and an incredible understanding. In addition, Nana was educated in the United States and at the University of Nevada, I think Las Vegas, Nevada. Gained a degree in African history in the U.S. and then went back home, took his degree back home, did not try to stay in the U.S. because he had a wife waiting for him over there, and then earned a second degree in African history in one of the local universities. So he's very well rounded, very well learned in both the American aspects and understanding of American culture, and also very well immersed in his own traditional culture, which is why he is my primary business partner. Because as an American, it is difficult to get things done. There's a separate price for locals and Americans in everything. Um, Ghana, I love Ghana. I feel very comfortable there, but you're what they call dashing. That's paying people off. You'd be dashing all day long to get any kind of business done. The more ingrained, the more well connected the people that you have working on your behalf are, the less you get dashed. And so we have a real relationship now. This has been, 3, 4 years now that we've been working closely together. I feel like I am now a part of his family. That's his daughter who, calls me on the phone every couple of weeks. And, you know, I speak with his wife and his family members. And because their people care about what other people think about them and how they maintain their relationship. So when you become ingrained into a person's family, they are much less likely there to do some of the foolishness, though that does not preclude it, because when it comes to the process of land, you hear many, many true stories of sad situations, even amongst blood relatives. But this is a key part of how I'm able to maintain my business and continue working there. Um, Another strong relationship that I had, I went there looking to learn also about some of the religious, indigenous religions, and that was very hard because Ghana is a very, very, very Christian on the surface place. But beneath that, there is something else. So This is another young man that I have adopted. His name is Enoch. I asked Enoch if he was a Christian. He said yes. I said, do you know someone who could talk to me about traditional religion? He said yes. I said, who? He says, my grandfather. And then he takes me to his grandfather. And this man here with the white hair is his grandfather. And he is the holy man of the village. He's also the miller. And the miller is the person, this is him, Enoch on the right at the milling machine. And here in the center are people who have brought their items to be milled. You see this young man with the blue towel on his head. That is how they kind of cushion, because he's going to put that, he brought that big container on his head. He's going to have it ground and then he'll come back and pick it up. When I told my tour guide Nana that I wanted us to go and learn about what the miller did and do a tour with our group there, he was very apprehensive, because my Nana is also a Christian minister, and he looked very, very perturbed. And it took me a minute to get it out of him, and it is because all of the millers in Ghana are generally relocated from the Volta region. That's the profession of many of the people in the Volta. And so as soon as I said Miller, in his mind, I said Volta. And as soon as you say Volta, you're saying traditional religion in the area where kind of magical things are still believed in. And the people from the Volta are known to be very, very strong spiritually. So, you know, my very strong Christian partner has said things like, you know, the average Ghanaian man will not even harass a small child who comes from the Volta, because even a child from the Volta may be steeped in some very strong powers that even a strong Christian man has some respect for. Um, and so I've become very close to Enoch, and for a while was close with his grandfather as well. He passed away last summer. Um, I had a very interesting dilemma with my child that continues to give me grief. And it was a very terrible situation with the police and a lot of guns and some dogs and some sharpshooters and red dots on the door. It was like a movie, you all. And I called Enoch and I said, Enoch, you know, this is like 2 in the morning. I said, I'm in a really bad situation right now with my son. I just want you to pray. He said, what's his name? And I told him. He called me back in about 3 minutes. He says, Mama, I am sending very strong spirits and all of them will leave. And I kind of laughed and hung up and said, I'm a little busy right now. You know, thank you for your sentiment. And about 5 minutes later, an officer came up to me and said, did you hear what we're about to do? And I thought that she was going to say, we're about to, you know, assault your child and, you know, completely traumatize you. She said, no, there was an emergency. There's an emergency around the corner. We don't have the resources for this anymore. We're going to have to leave, and we'll leave you to handle this on your own. And all 20 of the police, the dogs, the tank turned around, and 10 minutes later, the street was clear, and I just sat there. So, the power of relationships. That's what this story is about. The power of a relationship that reaches, you know, way across the waters in a very, very, very quick way. And this is not the only experience I've had like this with Enoch, where there's been something that needed to be addressed, and exactly what he said would happen happened after I did the things that he told me to. So again, the topic is the power of relationships. Had I not seen him walking down a alleyway and engaged in the conversation that I engaged in, that relationship would not be in place, and I would not have the ability to make that type of a phone call. So this is another experience that we had on our tour with both David and Latrice Goodlet, our songsters in Wose, where we went to uh, the dungeons, and this is the priest area. And I've been there several times, and the priest was never there. But at this time, the priest was there, and he called both of my two guests up and did these special blessings with them. This is not something that he did with the whole group. They were on their way out, and he called them both and asked them to come and to receive these blessings. So as I saw it happening, I was trying to capture the picture, and you can see his hand out there as he made eye contact with me and asked me to come. So at that point, I had to put my camera down, and I came and also received the blessing. Um, Another relationship that's been key for me, Reverend Armstrong. Reverend Armstrong is a Christian minister in Kumasi. He is also the person who is responsible for weaving the kente cloths that many of you have. Um, he says that he is one of the first Ashanti weavers to begin really personalizing the kente cloth and putting the things like you see now, the different words other than symbols on them. So this is what he does, and he also does these various weaving things. And because I have that relationship with him, I am now one of the few people who can get access to real authentic kente woven by male kente weavers in the traditional fabric at a very high quality. That only came because I fostered a relationship. So here is one of his prayer summits. He works with people around the country, including the United States, to do many church things. So let's see. Sorry about that.
Sister Darnisha, just to interject, isn't he going to be one of our speakers?
He is.
Just, yes.
Yes, he is. He is going to be one of our speakers, Reverend Armstrong, who is going to talk about um, traditional, how he balances traditional spirituality and being a Christian minister. So this is the next generation of Ashanti weavers. Um, Dominic here. I think there's a picture missing, but Dominic here is in training to head the Bonware Adinkra village. The gentleman here is the current head of the village. If you've been there in the last 10 or 15 years, you've probably met him. He runs all of the tours. But right now he's training Dominic, and Dominic will eventually be the lead of that area. And this is the children. I don't know if you guys can see the string. Can you see the little fine string between their toes? Each child has a string between their big toes. It's kind of going into a triangle that they're holding with their fingers. And what they're doing is learning how to weave. That's how they play. This is how they have the children play. And they play with learning how to use their toes and how to manipulate the yarn. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's see. No! I can't be having a computer problem again. That's impossible. Let's try that. Okay. So again, this is Dominic, who is in training. This is the person who is currently in charge of the village. But Dominic and I have formed a really close relationship. Dominic calls me mom now. And this is his son. And so this is the little boy who now calls me Nana. And he is just growing very quickly. When I saw them on this visit, the visit to the left, the Dominic and his wife had not yet been married. Unlike America, it is not okay to have children out of wedlock there. Dominic made that mistake, and the child was born, and they wanted to name the child. The child could not be named because he had not married their daughter yet, and his child could not have a name until their daughter had a husband. And so this was the day that they were going to meet. He was going to meet with her uncle to do the final negotiations. And he had asked me to be the godmother of the child and asked me to be there at that negotiation. I didn't really know exactly what I was stepping into at the time. And I don't know that my American presence was the positive piece that he was expecting. But in any event, the uncle agreed. They had a wedding and a naming ceremony directly afterwards. So this child had no name on this day. It was about 2 months later that the child was finally named, and when they finally called me with the child's name was Rufus. That's my father's name. So, um, another relationship.
Darnisha?
Do you have your hand up,
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. Mhm. So this is very selfish, but this picture here where the brother has it wrapped around. This isn't kente, is it?
It
The
is Kente.
it is. I'd like to get I'd like to get one like this. So the next time that you're in town, uh, please remember me. Yeah.
I'll try not to put any commercials in the middle of this presentation, but I am about to import about 20 or 30 cloths in the next week.
Okay. That's why I'm glad I mentioned it. Okay.
So, another connection that I made, I met this gentleman, Coney. He is one of the park rangers in, I think it's Abori National Park up in the north, where they have all the big animals. And what Coney does for me is provides me with my Volani earrings. He's up in the north, which is very close to Burkina Faso, and also in the northeast, so it's also close to Mali. So he is able to do that for me. You can see on the picture to the right, he has a bucket in his hand, and that's his mother in the background. The shea butter business, if you guys remember that presentation, many local families make shea butter, collect the nuts and make shea butter. His family is one of those families. So on my next tour, I am negotiating with his family to be able to bring my tour group up and have his family actually go through a day process of showing everyone how they process shea butter from the beginning, having lunch with them and seeing having spending a day in the village with a real family. So again, it's so I'm able to be able to consider providing these things because I formed relationships and I maintain them and I nurtured them. One of my best relationships is with Madame Rabi in the Malti Company in Tamale. And Madame Rabi here is the owner of this cooperative. She works right alongside all of the women and is really always very pleased to see me because I think she's tickled that this little American woman keeps coming way up to Tamale to buy her shea butter. And as a result, she gives me a very, very good price. I'm now able to communicate. She speaks, ah, well, what is the name? Baba Daily, can you help me? What is the language that they speak up north? Oh, he must have left. It's going to come to me, but the
Is
language,
is it tree?
absolutely not.
Okay.
No, not tree. It's like a very obscure northern language. It's going to come to me. But my translator speaks about seven, my guy speaks 7 languages, but we have to hire a translator when we're up here because hardly, Dagbani, they speak Dagbani. So we hire the Dagbani translators. As you can see, it's a very traditional Muslim community, but very hardworking women. And I'm just very impressed with Madam Rabi. Her son is at the university in Takoradi, which is the sister city to Oakland, and he speaks very fluent English. So now she's connected me with her son, and I'm able to work with him, which helps to, like right now, where I have not been able to get back to Ghana because I have that relationship with her and with her son as well. I'm able to do a special arrangement and get a shipment that'll cost me an arm and a leg, but have to do. Um, this is another of my partners. This young lady sells waste beads and she dips them in the ocean, does special blessings on them. She's Nigerian and she is now living in Benin. And one of the reasons that I put her here is I don't do a lot of business with Yatunde, but again, being able to have different people that you can speak with and compare prices and ask if this is average, and just to be able to make sure that you're not getting too much of the special American price. And so having friends like that helps. She also has a beach home uh, right outside of Accra, which she has offered to allow me to stay in whenever I'm there. So again, wonderful relationships that just help facilitate moving things. And then it's good to know a cop or two in Ghana. These are the military police up in the north. So made some friends with the military police because at the hotel that I was staying at one of the members of Parliament, Parliament member Morris Donko, or Donko Morris, was staying there and attending meetings, and so they had this full contingent of soldiers that were at the hotel the entire time. Just wanted to show you this picture just to show this was something that I saw that I rarely see in America, is young boys who are holding hands. This is not anything odd. It has no sexual meaning to it at all. It's just that they are able to show affection as men and be friends and hold hand without worrying about people thinking anything strange about it. So I just thought that was a good thing and wanted to share. Another great resource is Mama Imacus. Mama Imacus came from the United States and went to Ghana about 30 years ago, and she owns the One Africa Resort. Her and her son, Nana Shabazz, run it, and she has a book called Returning Home Ain't Easy, but it sure is a blessing. Those books are being shipped to me in a couple of weeks so that I'll be able to sell them on my website. But her resort is a place that many people come through. So that was one of the places that I also met many different people from different places and really got a better understanding of the area and the region, made a lot of friends. So this is One Africa in Elmina, and her son Nana Shabazz, also a local chief. He is here doing a libation ceremony by the ocean. So part of relationship building is being kind and sharing and trying to give rather than always taking. So this is the Stilt Village that's just outside of Takoradi, and one of the ways to create goodwill is to be kind and to bring nice things. So what I did is I took a couple hundred black Barbie dolls and provided those to the children in the Stilt Village. And of course, I did it because I care and I want the children to enjoy and to be able to be children. But that's just another part of relationship building. Yes, Baba Karabazi.
Approximately how many people live in a village like this?
There were probably several hundred people living in this village.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's all, this is just a small portion of it. It goes all back in there into the trees. But everything is on stilts. And of course, all the children here know how to swim.
Mhm.
So there were lots of Americans from the Bay Area in Elmina. So this is just a sampling. Some of you may know some of these people: Brenda Buys, Chef Hunia, Kwame Natoto. I forget this brother's name, but he's from Oakland. This brother is, I think he is from the East Coast, but also an American. This is Naya Lacey. She's from Oakland and now has a big property that she has just built out in just outside of Accra. So I was pleasantly surprised to find many people that looked like home in the Elmina area. And that was not supposed to go in there. That's Kwame as he was signing the paperwork with the chief's representative for the Asebo property. So many of you have heard about the Asebo land that Kwame Natoto has been involved in. It is a area of land that the chiefs have allocated to be uh, sold or at a pretty reasonable rate, but you also have to factor in that it is in an area that is somewhat remote, and doesn't have a lot of connections, utility connections and such. So I was initially very interested in that area, but quickly decided that if I were to do something uh, on the continent, that I don't think that I would like to be in an American compound. I would like to be in a community and learn to integrate into the community rather than surround myself by other people that are just like me.
Sister Darnisha, you have a hand up. Brother Kalahari,
Brother
Baba Kalahari.
Kalahari, yes,
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
In the village, the water looked a little hot, looked like it had oil in it. And I was wondering, what's the bathroom situation like here? Is it out there? Is there on television how people use bathrooms?
Baba, I'm sorry. I can hear your voice, but it's not very clear, so I'm not able to make out what it is you're saying. Is there something going on with your speaker?
He's on mute.
Okay. Baba Kalahari, is it possible for you to put in the chat what it is you would like to share? I definitely want to address you, but I couldn't understand your words.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, better now. Go ahead.
Okay. The water looked a little toxic in the village, and on YouTube, this one woman, I forget her name, but she said she held up a pan and said, "This is the way we use the bathroom." So I was wondering, you said they were challenged by the utilities, so I would imagine that it would be the same for them. But the water looked a little toxic, is what the main question in the village. Thank you.
Some of the water is polluted. There's a terrible problem with trash and the plastic bottles. You see many waterways that are look absolutely filthy that you wouldn't think of drinking or bathing out of. But most homes have plumbing. It's the plumbing is not as robust as our plumbing. So like when you're in Mexico, you don't put the paper down the toilet. You wipe and put it in the trash. In most places, there are some places that have better systems, but at most of the hotels, they will tell you don't put paper in the toilets. You wipe and you put it in the trash can because they do have plumbing, but it's just not that robust. And when you put all that paper in there, especially the way Americans use it, because we use a whole lot of it more than other people, I understand. It clogs the plumbing quickly. But every place that I stayed always had regular plumbing, and for the most part, toilets that flushed. I did go to a number of rest stops where you're just kind of like perched on a little piece of cement with a little wall around you, and you just squat and hope that the splash is not too dramatic. And that's in some remote places, but all of the places that I stayed, that was not the case. And I did not go swimming in any lakes or rivers, and I only went to one beach because they don't do a lot of water there. My next time, I plan to spend time in Takoradi, where I hear there's a bunch of black surfers and the beaches are really nice. But for the most part, they don't mess with that water. They are unimpressed by a beach. The shanty towns are on the beach. So, getting back to land. So, this is a person. This is Kofi Tab. Michael, you might know him as Michael Tab. He's known as Kofi Tab over there. He's worked in the Bay Area for many years up in Marin County. And this is his compound. And this was the place that really inspired me. Like after I saw this, I was like, yeah, I can do this. So the view up here from on the top right, that's his view out of his bedroom on his second floor. The area here is a covered area. It's a covered outside lounge area. This little area over here is his garden. I don't know if you can see these plants, but those plants had only been growing about 6 months. They're huge. Um, you can see here we are standing in his bedroom up at the top left here. That's Mama Latrice. We're standing on his bedroom veranda, and it's incompleted now. It will be a bit more enclosed, but it's not completed. Uh, this is the view from the front of where we're standing up above here. Um, this is his inner court. Wait, oh. This is his inner courtyard, and he has a person, a groundskeeper, who stays over in this area. Notice his door, that beautiful carving on his doors. Same thing on the door inside. This is his outer door, the outer perimeter for his property, and then there's his inner door, also beautifully carved. His kitchen cabinets are all hand carved. Um, I don't know what you call this art here. It's I want to say it's a relief, but what this is he has art that tells the entire history of Elmina all around his property. And the artist is there. He works on it, every day. And he draws the image on the wall, and then he uses mud and cement and he carves it out. So it's like a picture, but it's a three-dimensional picture that is on his wall. It's built into the walls of his house. And you can walk around his house and he can tell you the entire story of that area by the pictures that he has carved in his wall. Interesting about this picture. Does anyone see anything interesting? Well, let's see. Anyone see anything interesting right off? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. This person here, everyone eats with their hands for the most part in Ghana, which is something I love. Everyone washes each other's hands together before the meal, so everybody's hands are clean, and then everybody can put each other's fingers in each other's plates. But this one guy in the front of that picture, he has a fork. That's because he went to school in America. That was the message they were trying to get. So here, this guy here, right here, there's a fork in his hand. Everybody else is eating their fufu with their hands, but here he is, he's been Americanized, and he's brought his fork with him. So many of you know Chef, wait, the other statement about this place. How much did it cost him? He says that the cost of this entire property and all that he has done to it thus far is less than the cost of an American luxury car. So, definitely, look at under $100,000 to have something extremely beautiful and unique. Many of you know Chef Hunia. Chef Hunia is back in the States now, but when I was there last, she was in the process of not purchasing a property, but renting a property. And they do rentals there for at least a year. Really, they prefer like a 3-year lease. So you spend a bunch of money up front, but then you don't have to pay any more. So it's like you might pay, $3,000, for your rent for a year or two. So she had just signed a year lease for this place, and as you see, the place wasn't even done yet. It was still under construction. She was the first person to live there. It was in a gated community. There's a guard at the front. Just a beautiful area. So just some of the things that you can do, and there she is signing the lease, and I was there to sign as the witness. Another Oaklander that some of you may know, Nana Abene. What is her name in Oakland? I know her as Nana Abene. I think that she may have a different Oakland name, but just another Oakland local. This is a house that she is renting that she has now turned into an Airbnb and a business. Again, very reasonable. She has 2 children who are in middle school, who have been going to school in Oakland, and I believe this year she's brought both of her children over to Ghana, and they are both starting school this year in Accra. This is Emmanuel, and Emmanuel lives in Cape Coast. So when I was looking for a place to start dreaming about, he was able to help me. Born and raised in the area. His family has, been there since, the beginning of time. And you need to know somebody. Well, I won't say what you need to do, but what I found to be wise is if you're going to do any serious business, you need to have people that know the area, that are a part of the community, because again, relationships are everything there. So the place that I am looking at is in his neighborhood, and he walks by it every day and takes a look. This is the land that I have been looking at. This is near in Elmina, over this over that mountain there, hill is the ocean. You walk about, I don't know, 4 minutes down to this main road, and then so that you can see how far away it is from the water, about a 15-minute walk from the ocean. And this is the neighborhood school called Anquanda Gath Basic School. So in anticipation of working in this community, I've started to make some connections with the school. Many of you may know Dr. Grace Carroll and her Akira's Book Club. So Akira's Book Club, Dr. Carroll and Akira's Book Club visited this school about 6 months ago when she was on the continent, and so she has adopted the school and has, at her own expense, spent many dollars to send new books over to them and to establish what we hope will become a long-lasting partnership with this elementary school. And here is the vision of, should this ever come to pass, what it could look like. Round cubicles, round buildings that youth will come to for 2 or 3 weeks of program, an administrative building with conference rooms, a swimming pool to cool off in, a green area to sit and be cooled, an outdoor restaurant, an outdoor bar, changing room, a restaurant kitchen here, and an outdoor classroom around this area. So this is the dream, and this is what it looks like when land is being cleared from the virgin state. So I'll show, what's our time looking like? Let's see, 54 minutes. Okay, just about 5 more minutes, you all.
Mama, can you speak up a little more? It's hard to hear you. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So,
Darnisha, we're on the field. We're working as promised. Today is Thursday. You can see the blocks are laid, put together. The lines have been drawn for the laying of the other side of the block to be done. I expect that from today, Thursday, till Monday or Tuesday, work should finish and we'll be done. And then we will use the weedy sides, like I said, the weedy sides, to make sure that all the weeds die, so that we will not get a lot of the grass will not grow again. So thus we are here working, and I think that everything will be fine.
all right. So that is, as you see, the work is very it's all by hand. It's very labor intensive. It's very manual. This is how they make bricks. They have a combination of materials, some sand and some dirt. They know the perfect formula. They mix it together. They put it into this mold, and then the molds come out here. They are then sit and they dry. Actually, the longer they dry and kind of cure, the better they are. You don't want to use brand new bricks. You want bricks that have been sitting for a little while. After a number of months, many months of bricks, and then this is what it looks like once you start digging out the trenches to begin walls, which will be made out of those bricks. So that's what that process looks like. And then we will end this with our Wose family in Ghana. So we have a number of Wose family members who have visited the continent. Here we have Ty and his brother Buzz, and we have Latrice and David. We have our brother now, Nana Kwame, And there's me and Mama Connie celebrating our joint birthdays together there. And there ends that.
Wonderful,
Very good. Nice.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Excellent.
Have to share and
Hmm.
you know, this was really just meant to
Beautiful.
be a very general overview, not in a whole lot of detail, but really just accenting the importance of relationships. And probably I see that Dr. Jones has joined us. One of the most important relationships that came out of this for me is that ever since 2019, pretty much every single Tuesday, uh, both Dr. Jones, who was the staff on the trip, and Acacia Chan, who has become my dear friend and like a daughter to me as well, we all bonded and we decided that when we came home that we would support each other. So that was one of the best relationships that came out of this, because every single Tuesday, no matter where we are in the world or in the country, we stop for about 30, 40 minutes and we talk with each other about what our goals are, what is our high, what is our low, what are we expecting to accomplish in the next week, and what is it that we can do amongst each other to help support each other in being successful in whatever our goal for the next week is. We've been busy for the last few weeks and we've missed a few, and I noticed I fall right off the, you know, there's something about that accountability of a group. So that is another one of the incredible relationships that has came out of my experience in Ghana. So now I am really done. Are there any questions?
Excellent.
I have a question. I'm trying to.
Who was that? Someone?
And that was Judy.
Judy?
I was trying to raise my hand, but I couldn't find my chat. Yes, that was a very interesting and very good presentation, Sister Darnisha. Thank you. I had a couple of quick questions. One was when you were showing the house, when you were showing the lady that was renting the house or signing the lease, I noticed that there were burglar bars on it. Was that like there was some burglar bars or something
Yes,
on the
yes,
window?
they are big on that. Now there is crime. It's not that there is no crime in Ghana. There is crime, but the this is my perception as an outsider looking in. It seemed that people uh, almost overkill the security because there's not a lot going on, but you will see the compounds and they have walls. Most of the compounds have a wall around it. And the wall will have some barbed wire on the top, or they take, you know, broken glass and embed it in the cement at the top of the walls. Yet there is not a lot of crime and robberies and stuff going on. It does happen. But everyone does utilize security. And I think another reason for the bars, in addition to, I think that that is a holdover from the European attitude because they were so afraid and had to barricade themselves in. And when they left, we kept acting like them. I think that that might be a part of it as well. But another part is often they don't have windows, right? So we feel much more secure in our homes because we have that glass window. But if you didn't, if you just had an open hole and no glass window, and glass windows are just not efficient, it's always hot. You don't need to close the window. So I think that is also might be a part of it.
Well, that answered part of my question because I was going to ask if you invest in one of those houses or rent, how would you get out? Is it fire hazards when they have those
Oh, they don't
bars?
have no 80. It ain't no ADA and stuff over there.
And my second question quickly was just I was watching another video and a lady was talking about Ghana. She was sharing with us her life in Ghana, and she did mention that a lot of people, the land that was near the waterfronts was less expensive than up on the hills and things. So you mentioned that a lot of the shanties, so that's not living near the water and beachfront is not really the not what we would visualize is the best place. Everybody has beach homes.
Yeah, no, they're afraid of the water. All the water, the rivers, the lakes, because there are spirits in all those.
Oh, wow. So the shanties are near the coast and on the beaches. That's where basically poorer people live.
The poorest areas that I have ever been to, of course, I wasn't just, in all of the slums or anything, but the poorest area that I went to was the area outside of what they call it, the art center. And there's a big market. But if you just keep walking to the end of the market, eventually, like, the market turns into the livestock area, and where they do the leather tanning and stuff. And then you keep on walking, and it gets, a little bit rougher. And by the time you get to the water, it's a lot of shacks and, just.
This is what city? This is not Accra.
This is Accra.
Accra, that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mama Connie has her hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to say, if anybody's thinking about going to Ghana, and you get the opportunity, go with Darnisha. It was the best trip, and to watch her work, and to meet people, and really come at them and develop this community spirit. I mean, she was amazing to watch her work. And so if you get the opportunity to go, I just had the best trip, and it was just such a blessing to go and to go with Darnisha. So I can't recommend her. I couldn't make a better recommendation for who you could travel with. And she protected me. She was extra protection, because she was worried. Sydney was worried about me going because he didn't go. And so, I mean, she was working it out. So
I was like, I am not gonna have Sydney on my tail when I return.
So that's it. I'm complete. Thank you, Darnisha. Beautiful job. Woo!
Yeah, and Connie is the perfect roommate as well, you guys.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Carla Howard here.
Yes.
What about the weather? I was reading some book, and it was talking about the rainy season. And are you ever concerned about overthrows? That's all they put on television here, is when there's an overthrow. And the religion was Islam, wasn't? I think it was Islam, or maybe. Well, anyway.
You did like 3 questions. Let's see. What was the first one?
Weather.
The weather.
What's the weather like?
It's hot and dry, or hot and moist. I was there in the rainy season, and it was pretty interesting to see. I mean, the rain in the rainy season, it rains. I mean, it comes down like cats and dogs out of nowhere. And it's still hot, and you're kind of thankful for it, because it cools everything down and makes it kind of tolerable for, a minute. But I'd never seen so much water come down at one time. And I kept looking at the gutters, and I was saying, like, these gutters are dangerous. Like, the gutter is like, 3 feet deep. You fall in the gutter, you're breaking your leg. And after that rain, I was like, that's why. You got to have a gutter that deep to hold all that water so quickly. And then it gets hot and, dries up. So I've been there in the rainy season and in the dry season. So the rainy season, it was hot and wet, and the dry season, it was just hot. What I have not experienced that I do want to experience is the Manhattan. And that is I just missed it. It was just about to start when I left. And that's that strong wind that blows. If you've read a number of books, like particularly, I think I read the book Things Fall Apart, and it talked a lot. It described it very well. But it's just a dry wind that blows from the Sahara and just blows the sand of the Sahara all the way to the water. And people have to keep a lot of shea butter on to protect their skin. And I imagine, they're used to how to, squint your eyes, right, to not have sand in your eyes. But that's something that I would like to experience, that's a weather condition that I would like to experience that I haven't. I'm in Kwazi Malik Ali. and then Bill.
You mentioned gutters. Those are mainly maintained by the citizenry with shovels or picks, or they have backhoes or trucks going through keeping those open? Or do they grow
I didn't,
over, or what's the
I didn't see any backhoes or trucks or any
Greetings,
really
greetings.
cranes, but I think they're cement. They're not dirt, so they're not corroding or anything. And I'm sure that the people who do business or live in those areas will probably make sure that it doesn't get too clogged. I don't think there's like a city street cleaning coming through dealing with that. If you
But the
look,
gutters are cemented though.
they
They're
are.
not dirt or grass.
Most of them are cemented, but there's some that are, I'm sure there's some dirt ones too. But if you are in that area and you see it, you're not going to be waiting on the city. You're going to want to deal with that because otherwise it's your house that's going to flood or your business.
All right, brother, I'm in. Brother, I'm in.
Yes, I have a question. I know a lot of people there speak English. Have you interacted there with people who don't speak English, and how do you handle the language barrier?
Because I blended in so nicely as a Ghanaian, I tried to shut up and let them think that I was a local. As soon as I opened my mouth, it was the cat was out the bag. Yeah, they know the minute you open your mouth that you are speaking with an American English accent. Almost everyone there speaks English because they teach it in school. In school there, you learn your home language for the first, I think, 3 years, 3 or 4 years. You learn all of your language instruction is in your home language. You learn your home grammar and all of that. And then about the fourth grade, then they start the English instruction. And they're very serious about that English instruction. Almost everyone in Ghana speaks 3, 4 languages. No one speaks just English and just their dialect. They speak Tree, they speak there's a Fanti, there's Ga, there's a number. They have over 150 different languages and dialects that they not only speak, but they teach in all their public schools. Because whatever it is you speak in your community, that you are taught in that language for, that beginning part of your education. So most people speak some English, but it's also the English is different and it's often hard to understand because it's British English and that's a little different. The cadence is different. Some of the words are a little different. They are colonized by the British, so they speak British English. And religion, no, they were Muslim in the north. And there are Muslims everywhere in Ghana, but they are mostly centered in the north. The north is very, very Muslim. In fact, I had to pay extra dashes to the police when I traveled on the Muslim holiday because they collect extra money for the holiday. Um, so, but everyone there is a Christian. Everybody you talk to in Ghana is a Christian. They believe in Jesus the Christ in the white version. On the surface. But now if you got 15 days to get beneath the surface, it ain't going to happen in 15 minutes. But if you got about 15 days to get beneath the surface, you will find that there is something else. And it's not easily described. That is kind of part of the research that if I do complete my studies, my research may touch upon that. It's a very subtle truth. But on the surface, it's all white Jesus.
Pictures and all. They have the pictures.
Oh,
And those kind of things.
absolutely. Yes.
Hey, you know
Yes.
what? I have a
White
knife.
Jesus,
Why
white Santa
don't you use
Claus.
that? It's quicker, just.
Yes, all the images on all their cars. Everybody got Jesus on the back of their car and a picture.
Ooh.
I have a whole collection I could share with you just of the religious sayings and pictures on the back of trucks and cars.
Lord have mercy.
But
So I take it you didn't mention anything like Wose then.
Well, I was cognizant of where I was and the environment, and I didn't want to cause any trouble, but I was able to eventually get the information that I was looking for. But again, it wasn't after 15 minutes. It took me building these relationships and building some trust to kind of get to what was beneath the surface.
I'd like to point out before Bill asks this question, there's a book written by a Ghanaian. It's called The Africans Who Wrote the Bible. And he connects, he says his premise of the book is that the ancient Egyptians and the people who left in the Exodus are nothing but Akan tribesmen. It's called The Africans Who Wrote the Bible by Nana Banchi Darkwa. He was an English professor here in the United States. Go ahead, Bill.
I saw lots of what seemed to be Israeli flags and Stars of David. Did you see that? I really couldn't explain it. You
I didn't
understand
notice
that?
that, Bill. Where did you see that?
Around a crop. And in the countryside too.
I didn't notice that.
Okay.
Oh, yep, that's the book, Sugar D.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Sugar D has that book.
What I did notice, Bill, was those. What are those? Was it the Seventh Day Adventists? What were the people that wear the white shirts and the ties?
Mormon?
Oh, the Mormons.
Mormons.
Yeah, I saw Mormons. I noticed some Mormons there, but no, I didn't notice anything Jewish.
That reminds me of this reggae song, and they say, I was talking to the morons, I mean Mormons. Okay, sorry, I digress. All right, is there any other questions or discussion? We got about 17 minutes. Is Wild meeting tonight?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So what is the general attitude towards Americans coming over? I mean, is there some hardiness, or they openly embraced, rejected, and scorned, or what's the
I felt
feeling?
very welcome, but I also I had a little bit of a quandary that I'm still kind of working through, because it also made me very clear that I was an American. I mean, I know that I am an African. I have African heritage, but from my experience, it was hard for me to deny that I am an American. Um, and I have American ways because I was raised here in America. And so you have to kind of consciously check some of that you choose to, because I mean, I am me, right? I don't have to completely adjust, but I understand that there are some things about being an American that are not as palatable in other places. Like, I only really lost my cool and acted like an American once, and I'm gonna tell y'all this shameful attitude I displayed.
Uh-oh.
I
Come on with it.
I think they have lots of avocados. I love avocados. Avocados were abundant. And so I would often have an avocado or two in my purse or something and get my salad and, add my avocado. Well, I ended up eating salad in the end too, which they tell you not to do, but like my body needed some lettuce. But I wanted salt and pepper on my avocado.
Mm.
I really like avocados with just salt and pepper. And I got the avocado and I was hungry. The other thing that catches you in being American is you will wait and get hungry and then go to a restaurant and think your food about to come because you're hungry. They don't care how hungry you are. It's still going to take about an hour. So like when you done waited too long,
Yeah.
now you hangry, right? And you got an attitude. So I let myself get hangry. And then I was wanting that salt and pepper, and they did not know what I was talking about with the pepper. You don't know how many things they brought me out. They brought me some Cheeto. They brought me some, pepper flakes. They bought me about 4 or 5 different hot things that were not black pepper. So I was like, no, pepper, just plain black pepper. So eventually I did get the pepper, but I did get a little testy about my darn pepper. That was the only time that I did that. But during my Fulbright bright time, you know, I traveled with a lot of other people who displayed that attitude all day, every day. I want my stuff now. Well, you know, well, you knew from after the second day that you ain't get no food in less than an hour, so it's on you. If you in the morning, I would, you know, they got the buffet every morning at the hotel. I get my little boiled eggs and keep me a little bit. Their breakfasts are so hearty, you know. I went and bought me a little Tupperware, put me a little something aside, so that when we finished all those classes, I go and have me a little snack, and they'd be hangry and ready to get mad at people. So yeah, that was one of the biggest causes of frustration was people's attitudes about food, the time that it took for food to be delivered, what the food tasted like. No, this is not America. It don't taste the same. And then these people had the nerve to also be vegans too. So you go to a vegan place somewhere in Ghana and they bring you some fish. So they don't understand this I don't eat meat thing. So yeah, those were the biggest challenges were around food and the Americans, we're a little pushy. We are like we're kind of short. We be like to the point. They like, no, how is your family? Well, what about your grandma? You know, you're trying to buy something, but you got to go through these things. And if you don't, your service is not going to improve and it's not going to be any faster and you're going to be upset. So you just got to adjust yourself.
So no fast food establishment around the corner, down the block, that kind of thing.
I did see a KFC and I couldn't bring myself to go in there.
Oh my goodness.
But fast food is street food. And so what I did, because when I was at the Fulbright, you guys had the Fulbright people, and you know I didn't know all of them, and they were not all people of color, but they were paid for by the State Department, so they took them to all the nice places, the nice restaurants, which are the slowest restaurants. And I noticed after the first week that our guides would drop us off at the restaurant, we would be waiting on our food. They would leave, come back all happy, you know, with a beverage in their hand and stuff, full, and we still be waiting on our food. So I watched that for about a week, and then I started leaving them Fulbright people and going with the drivers.
Mm.
I'm going where you going. Wherever you going to eat, that's where I'm going to eat. And so I stopped eating at those places and I started eating at the chop bars. And now I'm a chop bar girl. The
Mm.
chop bars quick and hot because they got all the food cooking over open fire. It's always being replenished. The flavor is always great because it's been cooking all day long. It's already hot. So that's kind of their equivalent of fast food. And it's very inexpensive. So like what they might have been spending 20 American dollars on a meal or 15 American dollars on a meal, whereas I was spending $5 and including an alcoholic beverage.
Mm.
Yeah, they have a drink there called Origin Bitters, and
Was that what you was drinking earlier in that shot? Some Dagra?
I don't know about Dagra. I don't that must be one of them rough things that they wouldn't let me know about as a girl. But I drunk a lot of Origin Bitters, which is kind of a sweet beer that has a lot of herbs. It's really almost a medicine. It's a herbal beer. Drunk a lot of Origin Bitters. I bought a bottle of the regular nasty bitters, and I had a shot of that every morning when I got up. The nasty medicine-like bitters. I swore by a shot of cognac every night because I thought that would kill anything that got past all my other defenses. And in Origin, actually, I have a little bit. This was me and Acacia's favorite beverage. I'm not a minister. I could tell it.
Sure.
Let's see. Can you see this? No.
Take your
Right
background.
It's called pokeke. This is a ginger alcoholic beverage called pokeke.
Is that like a ginger beer?
It's a ginger alcohol.
Mm.
I don't have to say what I added it to. Okay, if you twist my arm, I added it to cognac.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
You brought,
We're here for a true confession.
I can't tell a lie, y'all. Y'all know, you guys all know me. I cannot hide.
We're gonna pull it out of you. It reminds me a lot
I'm gonna-
of Jamaica in a lot of ways. A lot of similarities there, with the landscape and the way the people interact, with Americans. Like you, when I go to the island now, I eat where the locals eat. I don't eat on the tour circuit. Food's better, cheaper. So yeah, that's my thing too.
Yeah. And they all think that we're rich, so when they find out that you're an American, people assume that you've, got a bunch of money because, you can afford to be on this trip and compare it to what they're making you do. So that was one of my revelations as well. I felt I said that this was as close as I've ever had an experience of what it must feel like to be a privileged white girl. Because I could do what I wanted there. I mean, I don't have very high taste, so I'm not trying to, buy a Gucci bag or, buy an airplane or nothing. But, whatever I wanted to eat, I could eat. If I want to eat lobster every night, I can eat lobster every night. If I want to, buy something to wear, I can buy something on the corner every day. Um, I didn't, but I know that, I could because, the money that we make compared to the money they make, we're not rich, but kinda, we have a lot more leeway than they do in many cases, or at least the people there are very wealthy people over there as well, but those are not the people that I was hanging with.
When I went to Egypt and people are acting like that, I said, "Hey, I spent all my money just to get here."
That's what I said, which was
Yeah,
true. It's like, you know how much it
Yeah.
cost me to get here?
yeah.
I got to go to work for now after this. So they don't have a clear understanding of that. They often think that all the Americans have a lot more than we do. And then, some of us like to kind of front, right? So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
so some
Sister
of us,
Judy has her hand up, but she figured out how to get her hand raised. Go ahead.
yes, I did. Oh, wow, this is interesting. I was gonna ask you, that's where my next question, what you were ending up with saying. Isn't there, sort of a group of prominent and bougie Black people there that are there? Is this another area of Ghana? Because I know a lot of people that
yeah.
go to Ghana and I don't hear this kind of description. But I imagine they're staying either with friends they know from the States and or hotels that are kind of, regular
Yeah, there are.
large chain hotels.
Yeah,
So
there are wealthy people there. I did go to one really kind of fancy place because I was there with a young, beautiful Acacia Chan, my friend who knew people there. She actually had a friend that was from Ghana, that was from one of those, upper class families and had a lot of money. There are people with fancy cars and, just like we have here. So the tallest building in Ghana, or the tallest building in Accra. It's this building, you've probably seen it. It's got like yellow and white tiles on the side, very tall. We went to a party that her friend had invited us to there. And to get into this party, you had to go, there was a private elevator on the side of the building. You go to the elevator, there are two armed guards with big old, AK-47s there, and to get in, you had to know the word.
wow.
Oh,
Well,
is that like the Christian word or a
I don't
particular?
think this was not a Christian part here. This was the people
yeah,
with the money party, and
you have to have
you
the
had to know the
password.
word. You go up to the top floor. The party was on the roof of this beautiful, tallest building in Accra. The infinity pool. It looks like it's going off the edge of the building, and everybody dressed to the nines, and very a very wealthy class. But I know those kind of people in America, and I don't really like to deal with them, and I'm not going. I don't. That's just not me. I don't like too much fancy too often. You know, I could do it here and there, but that's just not me. So
But did you, I guess what I'm trying to find out, did you tour or did you go into neighborhoods and other areas where it's just regular, more of an upscale environment in Ghana?
yes, yes, definitely
And
some of the nicer neighborhoods by the embassies and stuff. There are some beautiful neighborhoods that are exclusive.
and the only reason I asked this is because I was looking at everybody presents a different story. I mean, a different experience. And I was watching a video with a real estate group that advertises South Africa, and they only show upscale Blacks and, people living this upscale lifestyle and taking you on tours on their videos of prominent neighborhoods and these very upscale. But I just thought, wow, I know that that's just average, that's the impression that they want, and that's the market of people they're trying to pull. So I'm thinking surely, as much as I've heard about Ghana and knowing people that travel there, that it must be another part other than what you're describing.
Right. No, there are $1 million homes, there are mansions, you know, just like the huge mansions here in America. People go and build the same huge mansions right there. They have the servants. You know, it is very common for people who are not really wealthy to have servants, a house girl, uh, you know.
And what about malls and entertainment, movie
Oh,
theaters and that
oh
kind of?
yeah. The mall in Accra is just like the mall here. All the major chains. There's the Mac store. There's, all of the name brands. All the stuff that you see in America. The AT&T store, or the phone stores and stuff. Uh, the box store, not Target, but their equivalent with all of
Very
the.
westernized is what you're saying. It's
Yeah,
still very westernized. That's why they got the Christianity going on.
yeah.
Gotcha.
How far away are you from? This is my
Okay,
last
okay,
question.
we have two more people and
Yeah,
we
I
got
was,
about 2 minutes.
my last question was just how far are you from the area you're building in? How far are you from the city or the more upscale area?
Elmina is kind of country. Elmina is slow motion. I don't like Accra no more than I like Los Angeles. Um, so Accra is a excuse me, Elmina in Cape Coast is a really laid back. The Kumasi and Accra are like LA and New York. Just tons of people, lots of traffic. You can't get anywhere fast. But Cape Coast is kind of, the typical beach bum life, People are a little more laid back on the water, I guess. It's just the traffic is slower. There's no traffic jams really, and just people are just a lot more laid back. And for whatever reason, a lot of the American expats also attract to that area.
Thank you.
Right. Sister Celeste and then Brother Amin, and then we'll close out.
So the tourist people did the welcome home or come back home. Do the locals feel that you're coming back home?
Yeah, I had many people that I felt very sincerely were glad to have me back home and welcome me back home. Again, I also felt very clear that I was an American, and what I guess the thing that makes you feel the most excluded is the locals are able to communicate in their local language, and you're unable to, or for me, I am unable to participate in that conversation. And it ain't no different than in America when people know you don't understand what they're saying. You're not sure what they're saying, right?
This is true.
Yeah, and it could be that they are, I guess you can learn the tree phrase for that rude American or something and listen for it. But that was probably the thing that made me feel most excluded, was the inability to understand any of the languages, and they speak so many, and I don't speak anything except for English. So I said that I felt like a stupid monolingual American.
Brother Amin, go ahead.
I heard that Ghana is building a city there for the returning African Americans who want to come and live there. Do you know about that?
You may be talking about the Asebo property that Kwame That's a village. I know that I've heard a number of proposals, and there are other Americans who are doing various resorts and things. It's not that novel of an idea, but I really have a great apprehension about being grouped with a bunch of Americans. They don't do big major crimes and stuff a lot down there, but if they ever decide they want to start doing home invasions and that type of stuff, where you think they're going to start?
They know where you are.
Yeah, I won't. I won't have a big X on my door saying, "Hey, come here and bother me." I'm trying to be in the community so that all my neighbors is gonna be like, "No, that's my sister. You better leave her alone."
Mhm.
All right, Darnisha, this was such a treat. You really, Mama Connie is right. You gave us a great tour. You gave us, we felt like we were there. Excellent PowerPoint and excellent questions from you all. Next week, well, let me just start out. Tomorrow, I was going to make this a surprise, but then I had a change of heart. But tomorrow, this man here will be on this Zoom. Kaba Kabane will be meeting with us on our study of sacred scriptures. Actually, this says 5 o'clock, but we're going to start at 6. And we're going to go, we usually go an hour, but we're going to go from 6 to 7:30 because, Kaba Kabane has a lot of information. Professor Kaba Kabane has a lot of information, and he's going to be talking about the Osirian drama. So it's going to be a special treat. So I put this flyer in the chat. So share it with your friends. Let people know that it's happening. Again, remember that it's not going to be at 5. It's going to be at 6 Pacific time tomorrow, 6 to 7:30. Okay. And then next, Sister Gloria is going to be here appearing in Sacramento. This is her reggae group, Sophia. And Brother Damani's putting this on at the African Marketplace. And here's the flyer. So I'm going to drop this in the chat as well. This isn't until November 5th, but just kind of give you a heads up if you're in this area to come and check this out. Sister Gloria is the lead singer in the group, and looking forward to that. Also, many of you have gotten the news that Pharaoh Saunders passed on to the ancestors. And so we'd like to close out.
Oh, before you do that, Baba, I want to show one more video related to the presentation for you.
Okay, all right. Let me stop my share. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to share, this was one I couldn't get in because I couldn't figure out how, but someone asked about the rain. So this is one of my favorite days. We had went on a hike, and it was a treacherous hike to the highest mountain, Mount of Fajo, I believe. And then we ended up at this waterfall. Went under the waterfall, was walking back, and then it was sunny. It was hot and sunny. And then all of a sudden, this happened. Someone was asking about the rainy season. So.
It was a dry walk up, but it's going to be a wet and muddy one back. And we do not care, because this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Even Nolan has come back to life. He is revived. I wanna go outside. Don't. In the rain.
That's great. That is great. That's outstanding. Again, thank you, Mama Darnisha, for such a wonderful presentation. Next week, we will have this man on. Let me share here. We'll have, that's not it. That's not where, I didn't mean to enlarge that one. Let's see. Here we are. We're going to have Chester Higgins, and he is a great photographer, and he's written this book called Sacred Nile, and it goes back to it goes back to 1973, all of his trips along the Nile. He has pictures of Ethiopia. Look at that. He has pictures of Nubia, and he has pictures of Kemet. So, and this is his website. You can go on, just search on Chester Higgins, and you'll find this website. This book is a great book. He sent me a copy of it, and it's just a treasure. It's an exquisite book of fantastic pictures along the Nile. Okay. So, and as I was saying, let's kind of go out on Pharaoh.
Baba Imhotep, can we get a quick little report from Brother Bill as to how he's doing in Florida?
Bill, can you give us an update?
Sure. We're waiting for Ian to blow by on the east. We're in an apartment, second floor. It's a fairly sturdy concrete construction. They're only anticipating winds up to about 60, 65 miles an hour. That'll be messy. It'll be rainy. There will be floods, but we should be able to just wait it out.
Great.
I just talked to my son. He lives in Florida, Melbourne, as a matter of fact. So I'm a little further down than we are, Bill. And they sent me some video, and it is terrible. Even though we're on the East Coast, the rain and the wind and a lot of flooding. And they went outside because it got calm, and they went outside and took pictures, and it's debris everywhere.
Everywhere. It landed at 155 miles an hour.
I know.
So we're hoping it's down well below that before it gets to us.
Right. And down in Fort Lauderdale, I have a girlfriend down there. I talked to her, and she said that it was a lot of wind. So this is all on the East Coast. So And most of my friends evacuated from the West Coast. All of them left. They didn't
Yes,
play.
West
They were
Coast is
gone.
hard.
Yes.
Yeah, 155-mile winds. That's serious.
Blessings for everyone in that area. Send them light and love, safety.
Thank you for asking that question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna also add, if I could, Minister Imhotep, Chester Higgins is also a Egyptologist, so he has so much information, a lot on YouTube, some wonderful interviews, and you will learn a lot. I hope you guys join, ladies and gentlemen, join next Wednesday. He's going to share quite a bit of knowledge.
Okay, so let's get the word out. We're trying to really build up our Black Knowledge Matters and our well, just everything that we do here on Zoom, our Sunday service, Black Knowledge Matters, and study of sacred scripture. So we've had some great presenters. We had a great program this evening. We've had Brother Bob Daly. Last week, Sister Saraswati really gave us some good instruction on Zoom. That was very, very good, along with the information that was shared regarding Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. All right. Well, everyone.
I think we ought to. I'm going to make a suggestion that we do push when we make announcements, like on Sunday or whenever, that video about Zoom. I think we need to push it. Say, hey guys, you really need to go look at it so that everybody can come, because it was an excellent presentation and anybody can follow it. And a lot of people missed it. So just a suggestion.
No, that's a good idea. And, it's out now on YouTube and you can share it with people. So that would be one way to get it out too. All right. Darnisha, thank you so much. Beautiful presentation. Everybody loved it. I mean, if we were able to stand up, you'd get a standing ovation. If we were in person, it was excellent. And we'll see everyone next time. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. So come check out Professor Kaba Kabane. And
Hey, Mama T. Sorry.
yeah, everyone is there. All right. Live up, bless up, love up, guidance and protection.